Hello guys, second part of this tutorial today. Let's just start directly and don't waste time. We ended up with something like this. Now we have to render it and then we will compose it a little bit like in Photoshop. Maybe what I want to do is just a little bit add of bloom effect. So we go to our camera tag, post-processing and enable. And that's definitely too much. And just a little bit. And maybe play even with the glare power a little bit and maybe just amount to and set it to, I don't know, maybe 90 degrees. That looks cool, but I don't think that I like it. But I don't know, like we can do like a lot of more in post. So maybe add 3, something like that. So it's not so important. So let's check out our passes here. For that we go to our render settings here from Cinema4D, renderer Octane Render. We, resolution. For tutorial we just go to 3000 so I don't wait too long. Then we don't need really the save because we save like the different passes. So we go to Octane Render and we go to render AUV group and we put something what we need here in our where we save it. So I save it on my desktop and you can go here with EXR or with PSD. EXR is even more precise than PSD, but I'm just getting into it. And I'm learning a lot of different stuff right now, so I don't want to overcomplicate myself, but we can definitely do it with PSD. That's what I've always did. And we should save our denoised beauty here because we will need it later for the composing. And now the important part, we go to our render AUV manager and it should look for you something like that. So it should be empty. So now we have like here on the left all of our passes that we want, like most of them, and we can just check them out, what we like or what we don't like. For example, like post-processing is good, and if we double click we have it here and you see now we have it here, and this is just the bloom pass. Also, like the shadow is very often useful, so it looks something like that, but for that you need like a lot of samples. Could be good, but we don't have so much here. We could also add refraction. So this is like our glass part and the liquid part. We can add like ambient occlusion. So we can put it later in a multiply blending mode and just add a little bit more of shadows to bring even more contrast. Then we have our different light passes idea. Like I'm not getting into it in this video. We can, if you want to see it, let me know. We can assign to every light a different light pass idea. So then later when we render the different light passes, we have like, for example, only for that light, one pass. Then for example, only this caustics or only this light on the glass. And if we put then all lights together, then we have like our normal image, but it's a little bit different. So you have to decide, like I'm still learning it a little bit, but you have to decide, do you go like with this kind of different passes like we pick now? Or do you just go with the light passes and compose it then into one picture? So I can make a video on it. It's really interesting. But let's continue. We need object ID. That's just so we can separate everything. And I put also like the material ID. So because sometimes the object ID and the material ID have like some different colors which I like to pick or which are better separated. Then I also like, I don't know if we need it in this example, but Z depth is very good. And you see it's just white because sometimes it happens. Sometimes if you put like Z depth pass in, you have like this right gray, white and black values, but sometimes it just looks like that. And to fix that, it's very easy. You go to our Octane settings in the viewport, you pick the info channels kernel, and the type you just pick Z depth. So now you have to use the Z depth max. So you have to play with the Z depth a little bit, but you see nothing happens. So we go again to our Octane settings and we just disable our AUV group or render passes. And now again, and you see, and now we can pick what we need, like the distance. And in that example, I don't know, yeah, like 45 or something is enough. And we copy that value. We go again back to our path tracing. And we go again and activate our render passes. And in the render passes, in the render AUVs, if we go to Z depth, here's a little arrow. And now if we click on it, we can put like our value in 45. And now you see we have our Z depth mask, what we need. So we can close it and go again back to our manager. Oh, and something very important. Again, we have to go to our photon tracing kernel, not our path tracing, because we have our caustics. And to just have control over our caustics, we go to our manager and we pick the, I think, use indirect. So yeah, you see we have like most of our caustics, yeah, and we can boost it a little bit. So I think those passes should be enough. So we can close and again, just check everything if everything looks good. So photon tracing, adaptive sampling, yeah, I think that should be it and we can render it. Okay, so here we have our different passes. Yeah, we can just all click to our beauty to see, and I think, yeah, that looks very beautiful. And now we can just check out our different passes. I just go one by one, and now I try just to add and tweak and see what works, what not. For example, if we take like our caustics here, so just our diffuse indirect pass, we can check out if something works good. And we see here, if we go like to, yeah, maybe screen or even color dodge, you see it is like a little bit overblown, so we can put our opacity a little bit down. And I liked it very much. It's getting a little bit more with color, you know. So also, but what we see now, so that our background is also brightened up a little bit. And also like our stones. And I'm not sure if I really want it. So for that, we have our different object IDs and materials ID. And I just go to our object ID and click to select on color range and just click once of that green. And now we can just adjust a little bit like the fuzziness. It is like how much it goes, like adjust the fuzziness, something like that, 20, till it goes like into like other areas that we don't need. So I think 45 is good. And now you see that is selected. So we can again deselect our object ID, go to our caustics. I just call it caustics, our layer, and just press to mask. And now if we see nothing because we have to invert it just a little bit. So yeah, again, like if we put it like on 100, you see only this is now selected. So again, we can color dodge and put the opacity a little bit, and you see we can just control like here our caustics. And maybe, so yeah, I think that should look good. And now we're affecting only our ground here. And again, we can go with the opacity a little bit down. And also this mask is a little bit affecting our perfume here. So we can go alt click to the mask and just erase it with black a little bit. And yeah, we will not see a lot of difference in the glass exactly, so that's okay. So yeah, we have just a little bit here. Maybe just play again like a little bit. Yeah, I like color dodge. Just a little bit, it pops then a little bit more. Now what we can definitely do is go to our material ID and go and select our Dior. And again, guys, this is just the 16-bit PSD. So for you, if you go EXR or higher resolution, that will look much better. And again, just select and color range. And I will just select like this purple here. And yeah, go with the fuzziness like a lot of higher. And now here, this Dior is everything selected. And again, we can deselect our material ID. We go to our denoise beauty and I will just press Ctrl J. So we have only this Dior selected here. And now we can just bring like a levels adjustment layer, clip it just to our Dior layer, and just crank the white completely to the left. So it's alt click again on that layer here. So now if we bring everything back again, you see like we added this caustics, but this Dior is not white. And now this Dior is white, and yeah, like from behind that looks good. And I think, yeah, that looks much better. So now we can go to the next part. Yeah, like the reflection a little bit like on the bottom of the glass. We can see if that works, but no, I don't like it, so I can just delete it. Also like refraction. So again, maybe we can boost a little bit like what we have already, but yeah, I think that looks already good. Maybe just a super tiny bit. So we're making just the glass a little bit brighter and the highlights. But yeah, I think that should be okay. Shadow, yeah, I don't think we need it here because we have already a lot. Maybe ambient occlusion, we can put it to multiply, and yeah, you see that also is not really working in that example. We can just play a little bit around. Yeah, maybe linear burn, so to add a little bit more of shadow, but just really like a tiny bit, like 4% or so. But yeah, we don't need it. So now we can go to our post-processing and bloom, and that we bring into the screen mode. And yeah, that's definitely too much. I bring it much lower. And also again, like with the adjustment layer and levels, I can bring the black a little bit to the right, but we have to clip it to our underlying layer. So you see, we just like, yeah, we just delete a little bit like of this glow. So we are concentrating just really like on our glare here. And with the bright part, we can add a little bit more. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it so much, but just like for demonstration purposes, I will just add like a really tiny bit. Then we have our Z depth pass. In that example, I don't think that I will use it, but you could, for example, I don't know, put it like into hard light, and you see like the foreground, because yeah, the foreground is like darker. So everything what is dark is in front of the camera, and everything what is more far away, it's getting brighter and brighter. So you have like this depth just with you don't have to use depth of field. You can even use with this Z depth pass. I have a tutorial on that. You can use this Z depth path to add depth of field in the post in Photoshop, so you don't have to use it in the Octane. That's very useful. Or you can add like smoke effects, but yeah, if we put it like to hard light, again you see like in the foreground everything is fine, and the more far away from the camera we go, the more it's going to be active. And the Z depth you see in the background, it's very white, and we could use it to add like a little bit like of smoke or something. But yeah, but in that example I don't go for it because yeah, I like that style. So yeah, we have something like that, and yeah, in that example, yeah, we didn't do like a lot of work because yeah, this scene is pretty simple. But now what we can do, we just create a new layer with the post-processing. Yeah, I have to. And just on the new layer, Control, Shift, Alt, and E. So 4 buttons, and now we have like one layer with everything non-destructively. And right click, we convert it to Smart Object, because then we can apply like different filters and go back and forth to them, and it's non-destructive. So we go to our filter and camera raw filter, and like every image I do, I'm always processing it a little bit like through the post-processing. And now we can play just a little bit around. So yeah, we can add a little bit of contrast, maybe just a tiny bit of exposure to don't make it too dark. That's always good, because often like images of people are just too dark. So yeah, highlights, bring them a little bit down. Shadows, like to just bring a little bit more detail, because we make afterwards the darker parts darker. We bring definitely texture in, because yeah, you see this looks like a little bit too smooth, our ground, but we want like a lot of detail on the ground, so we can bring like clarity and texture a little bit. And if we press P, you see that looks already a lot better. Maybe just bring in a little bit of vibrance. So yeah, like I just love this red here. And yeah, we can go to our color grading, for example, and just add, because again, we want like in our last tutorial, we want to add like a little bit of complementary contrast. That looks always good. So our shadows have to be like a little bit dark, because yeah, our main theme is like bright and already red. So we go into the shadows, and just with alt click, we drag a little bit like of bluish in, not too much, just really a super tiny bit, maybe even a little bit towards like purple or something. And in the highlights, we just bring again like a little bit with alt click, like a little bit more of an orangey look. So yeah, you see we have a little bit more blue in the background, and I think that looks also very good. Color mixer, yeah, I don't know, like we don't need it, because we basically just have like 3 colors, like the gray tones and like this yellow, orange, red one. And yeah, honestly, I like the colors. Yeah, maybe make the orange like a little bit higher. And again, yeah, we can go now to the effects. Just bring a little bit of vignette, because we will make it a little bit different. And again, you see, it is absolutely too smooth. Like look at our background. It's a dark shot, and like no camera would give us like this absolutely perfect smooth background. I don't like it. So we just bring our grain again. And yeah, don't bring like 2 or 3 or 5. You start to see it already, but still like it's just looking like cooler when it's really like a lot, but not too much. Yeah, something like 15. I think I like it. And maybe we can bring even our detail like a little bit, we can sharpen our image here. Yes, absolutely, because look, it looks a little bit too smooth. Like, yeah, our texture is not like 8K and we don't have like super much detail, but still we have like a lot of happening in the ground, but it's not popping, you know? And look, if you bring like the sharpening all the way up, yeah, that looks definitely too much. But if we just bring it a little bit, you see, we just add this detail. And yeah, if you click P, it's guys, we do it 5 minutes. Of course, you have to spend a little bit more time with it. But guys, it's a completely different image in my opinion. It looks so good. And if you have like different renderings, different angles, you know, and like different aspect ratios or something, and you want to post it like as a group, like with 3, 4, 5 different versions. And then what you could do is you could click on these 3 points here and just save settings. And yeah, that's default. And you save those settings somewhere on the desktop or something. And then you open your next render. And again, you just do like your render path stuff. And then again, right click smart filter. And you don't have any applied, right? Like any camera raw filter. So again, you go to camera raw filter. And you can go to our points here and load settings, and you load this file you just saved, and then you have like the exact same settings as you used in this image here, and then you can just tweak a little bit around, and then you can like add the same effect, the same look style to all of the different images. They have to be like kind of the same, you know, but you can always tweak it, and yeah, that's so effective. And now what we can do, yeah, you see like we have too much scene of our rock, but we want like our focus just like on the Dior, so we can black that a little bit out, and that's I'm usually doing with gradients. For that I go to this menu here and just use linear gradient and just drag a little bit up and just bring the exposure a little bit down. Yeah, just a bit. And yeah, maybe add one more. So again, just add a linear gradient, and yeah, just really just a tiny bit. Yeah, it's the same exposure. So I really just wanted a little bit, and even one more for the right side of things here. And yeah, if we compare it, that's without gradients. So we can add a little bit more of exposure. So this is without, and this is with. And yeah, I think that looks good. So we can go again out, and I think we have a little bit too much grain. Yeah, that looks jaggy because again the resolution was shit. It was low samples. So if you do it, it will look definitely better. Oh, and yeah, and for our grain, I have to go back to our first camera raw filter, and that's the wrong one. This one, bring the grain a little bit down. So yeah, something like that. And I think that's almost it. And you see, guys, like you can just enable it and disable it, and you can go even again into the raw filter and adjust it. And yeah, if we check out our denoise beauty, yeah, you see it's an amazing, oh guys, it's such amazing. And like this blue adds so much because of this complementary, and like you see it in my images already. Like I love this kind of grayish, black, white, blue and red color scheme. And now what we just could add a little bit, like a new layer, bring that layer into a linear dodge mode, go to our brush with B. And guys, sorry, I forgot to activate like my keystrokes layout, but next time I will do it for you. And I will just use like a normal brush here, very soft one, and just bring it to 5% maybe. So I just press 0.5 or just opacity here, bring it to 5. And with Alt, I just select this color here and just tap once or twice. And you see we just bring a little bit of glow. So just, it's really a tiny bit. And again, just one more new layer, linear dodge. And that time I will just pick a little bit brighter color. And again, just 5% opacity, and just tap sometimes here and just bring those layers here just a little bit down. So we just have them like a little bit. I think we should be fine. And yeah, guys, I love it. And you see so fast, and you bring so much effect from this one. And that's already good, but I think that is much better. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think. I appreciate every feedback. Like and subscribe for the next videos. It's a lot of fun to do like these tutorials for you. See you in the next video. Bye.